Ready?
I'd
like to call this public hearing to order. This public hearing is to obtain citizen input regarding the community development block grant. There is a sign-in sheet, I believe, that's passing around. If you wish to speak, kindly sign your name and your address and the town you're from, and stand and make your comment, please.
You got time for that.
I wish I could talk about wait your turn.
Does anyone wish to speak on the community development grant? No one wishes to speak. I will declare this public hearing over. We'll move on to our regular meeting. Call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Gladstone.
Here.
Merrill.
Here.
Kelso.
Here.
Bukai.
Here.
Wally.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Marshfield.
Here.
Vernal.
Here.
Driscoll. Haynes.
Here.
Scott. Ellis. Faulkner.
Here.
Hinckley. Wilson.
Here.
Kosher.
Here.
Layton.
Here.
Setta.
Here.
Malay.
Here. Okay, please join us with the invocation by Mr. Marshfield and pledge to the flag, Mr. Kelso.
Dear Lord, we give you humble thanks for this day and for the opportunity it gives us to serve you and this county. We pray that wisdom will guide this board as we convene to legislate and optimize the resources of this great county. We ask for your help to give our collective gifts to our communities, to give ourselves in ways that make a positive difference to our families, to our towns, and to our 45,000 county residents, to our nation and to our world, grown so small that it can be explored with a click of a button. We pray that those engaged in health and human services will strive to ensure that the physical, mental, and emotional health of every person is maintained. We pray for the men and women enlisted to protect us, our service people, our law enforcement, our fire, and we pray that they will always return to their families and friends. Strengthen our hearts and minds, and in the midst of any turmoil, give us hope, peace, and respect to each other. Amen.
Amen. Everyone, please join me in saying the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of our last month board meeting minutes. Were there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, they'll stand as submitted. Communications.
All communications received have been referred to the respective committees for review.
Okay, privilege of the floor. Supervisor Merrill.
Yes, it's my pleasure to have District Attorney Sean Smith give us a little background on Advent traffic version.
Thank you. So I've got a packet I was going to pass out, or if you want to take one and pass it down. We've been looking at implementing, and I've been working with my oversight committee, a traffic diversion program, which we, at the DA Association meetings that I go to, we're one of a lot of the bigger counties, the DA's offices don't prosecute traffic tickets. So when you take those out, we're one of the only counties that don't have some version of a traffic diversion program. Otsego County has one, Sullivan County has one, Greene County is in the process of implementing one. And I was referred to Advent Learning because they set up a bunch of the other ones in neighboring counties. So Anthony Miller is coming here from Advent Learning, and I was going to turn it over to him to just give us, once his PowerPoint goes around, I can answer any questions and I can talk about it, but I'll let them go first just to kind of explain the program a little bit.
Certainly. No problem. We'll let the slides, I guess, printed off, go around. But I will talk a little bit about what we offer, who uses us, as you can see, as we'll continue to let these papers go around. But you'll see the counties in New York that are utilizing our solutions. And then outside of the state of New York, you will also see communities across the country that are also utilizing our solutions. And the main goal for our solutions is to help reduce recidivism, but also to increase efficiencies for local governments, and also help with keeping drivers safe on the road as well. Now, you'll see we're covering traffic today. However, you will see that we do cover a lot of different things. A lot of different counties utilize us for a lot of different solutions, whether that is shoplifting violations, things like that, trying to educate the defendant population on their offenses. But we'll start with the traffic diversion program. This program is zero cost to your the government agencies in your community. There is a cost to the defendant, but the cost of the program to go through the program is less than what the current surcharges are for traffic violations, DTLs in your county. Our program helps streamline the process from the defendant applying for a traffic diversion or reduction. Our program also provides an education component that helps educate that defendant population on better driving practices. Our platform also will collect funds on behalf of your agencies as well, sending those directly to the county to then be dispersed down to the towns and village courts. What's great about our solutions and what we offer, again, at the end of the day, there's no cost at all to your agencies to utilize anything that we offer. And these programs, like I said, are helping and providing value across the board. So the first page, what you see there is just kind of talks a little bit about what admin e-learning is, who we offer to, and we provide our solutions to pretty much every government agency there is. So the prosecutor's office, district attorney's office, justice courts around the states utilize our solutions as well. We have defense attorneys that will utilize it. We have probation agencies across New York State that utilize the solutions as well. Even sheriff's offices will utilize admin e-learning in New York State. So there's, again, a lot of value that we bring. The next slide should show kind of going into all of the different agencies, or at least the counties that currently utilize admin e-learning for traffic. Just right around here, we have Broome County. They utilize us. We're working with Greene County, getting implemented with them. Outside of that, Cayuga County, Ontario County, Jefferson County. A lot of these counties I'm naming off are similar in population size as your county. Essex County, another one, who have kind of the similar situations that Sean Smith was dealing with at the DA's office. So these programs, again, very helpful. And again, you do see the different jurisdictions. Even downstate on Long Island, they're utilizing our solutions. Now, they might not use us for traffic on Long Island, but they are using our solutions to help educate the defendant population and also reducing that recidivism. Now, let me see, what is the next slide on there? I don't have one in front of me, so let me, thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
I wanted that.
Yes, no worries. I'll give you a second one if you'd like. Next slide just goes into talking about admin e-learning and what we are doing here. We're helping reduce the caseload. I know not all district attorney's offices might not handle traffic infractions, but this county does. And that is a lot of vehicle traffic infractions that are on the desk that constantly going through them to make plea offers. Not to mention the time that it could bog down the court system as well, and we do see that. So with this program in place, it helps reduce that workload, increases those efficiencies, and ultimately has safer drivers in your community, not to mention bringing additional funds to your county as well, and to the towns and village courts. It goes into, yes, saving criminal justice resources, reducing the cost of prosecution. I talked to many different agencies who have implemented this program, and one of the biggest pain points for them was ADAs kind of just being all over the place, answering questions late at night in traffic courts, things like that. which they were happy to do. However, it took away from their time focusing on misdemeanor and felony level crimes that we need to focus more on heavily than vehicle and traffic laws. The consequences and accountability as well, increasing program efficiencies, increasing participation and compliance. Our platform will ensure that the defendant is compliant through the steps of the system. Again, reducing recidivism, increasing funding, and then it helps the defendant avoid collateral consequences of a conviction. It could be also points on the record, which we know you get points. That could be very horrible for a driver, not to mention insurance goes through the roof. And then, of course, who knows, they could even have their license suspended, which we do not want. We want working citizens on our roads. Next slide kind of goes into, I guess, a 40,000-foot overview of what we offer at Advent e-learning. So we have the treatment, we have the processing, we have the monitoring, and then we have the flow, the automation from online application, one-click approval potentially, participant self-service, fee processing, handling of those fees, multi-step programming if needed, validation and review by the DA's office, and then creation of the disposition or plea reduction offer all through the platform. And then on the back end, the DA's office and the county would have access to, and the towns and village courts would have access to real-time reporting, transparency. It's very important for us at Advent e-learning, so you have those reports right at your fingertips to run anytime you would like. And then we kind of go into a little bit more of the administrative side of Advent e-learning, what we can also help with, that document fulfillment, a secure platform, electronic notifications, and audit history platform. And then next slide, we're actually going to go through kind of what it would be for the traffic program itself. So we can help with the online application, as I mentioned, registration, document upload. So if they need to upload the driving history abstracts, if they need to upload their VTL citations, they can in the system. Then the DA's office has access to review this stuff. Instead of now, currently, I believe they mail in these requests. Yes, so it's adding a lot of time on not only the defendant population, but also on the district attorney's office. We have multiple different education programs for traffic, whether they want to utilize our traffic safety program or they want to utilize our defensive driving program. We give that as an option. Then we have the notification option. So reporting, funds management, notification, electronic credentials, SMS communication. Our platform can send out text messages to the defendant population, just making sure that they're compliant every step of the way. Disposition management, and then even restitution. Funds management with the Advent e-learning platform. I know there's some potential payment processors out there that require or put some sort of fee on what they're collecting. We do not. So 100% of what you charge, we will collect and send directly to the county. So you're not getting a fee on top of that. With the platform, again, creation of the disposition documentation, reporting capabilities, as I've mentioned, ad hoc report, analysis, and measurement of success of your program, and then marketing support. Awareness is huge for programs like this, so we can help and work directly with the county, with the DA's office by creating marketing materials to get awareness out in the community about these programs. That could be cards, to where we even have law enforcement and state, New York State Police that are handing out cards. It doesn't have anything on it about Advent. It talks about the program. Go visit the DA's website to learn more about your options. Again, providing that awareness factor. We have some agencies have even printed boards that they have. They're not in the actual justice courts itself, but they're around the community providing awareness. That's important. Awareness of this program. Next, you're actually going to see a swimline diagram. This is going to show the process, what it would look like. So again, a defendant potentially is pulled over. A law enforcement officer writes them their citation or print it out. And then we can either provide a sticker with, hey, visit the DA's website to learn more about your options, or a card. Next step, the defendant makes it on the DA's website to learn more about their options. They don't necessarily have to participate in this program. This is an option. The defendant can still go through the process as they choose, or they can go through the diversion or reduction process. It's up to them. And then on top of that, once they read about the eligibility, they can click on a hyperlink that redirects them to our application page, which would be completely customizable for the DA, collecting all that necessary information to make their offer to the defendant within our system. Then after that, of course, it shows the flow to where you can accept, you can assign certain requirements, or our system can automatically automate that. Oswego County, they implemented with us about 2 months ago. We went through the Board of Supervisors and the county legislation as well. They're thrilled about it. The amount of time that is taken off the plate of the DA's office, so now they can actually focus on the murders in their county and those misdemeanor offenses that they didn't have necessarily the means or the ability to focus on those because the traffic tickets were bogging their docket down so much. And then, of course, going through the back end of the flow, once they are, the defendant has access to our education course, they make the payment. The DA's office can, again, make an offer through our platform, or we can electronically send an offer to them set up through the system. But again, this flow is up to the agency. So we can create a solution that fits the needs of your county, as it can be completely different than the surrounding counties you have here in New York State. Next, we go into why online treatment. Well, it's available in 150 different languages, so it does not matter. If you have Arabic, Mandarin Chinese, does not matter. They can have access to our platform and to the program. So everybody has the ability to go through this program. It's not just certain individuals. And again, they don't have to go through the program. They can still go through the traditional way if they would like to. With our platform and our experience, we don't personally create the content. We go out and find professionals in the field that are creating these content that show reduce in recidivism, huge with what we offer. The flexibility 24/7, no more having to show up to a live local option to where it might be only offered once a month. With our platform, they have access to it 24/7 to take our programs. One thing that we run into big time that a lot of defendants see is sometimes they can't make it to a live option because of childcare issues, transportation issues. I'm sure the court system has heard every excuse possible out there. With our platform, excuses go out the door. And then it goes over browser translatable and then great for rural and urban environments. And then it actually goes through 30 of our evidence-based cognitive behavioral therapy programs that we offer. And these programs are here to help reduce recidivism. But again, we're talking about traffic and defensive driving today. Next, we go into customer success stories. So I've just listed a couple different counties in the state of New York that are currently utilizing our solutions. Jefferson County, they've been with us for probably about 4 or 5 years now. The big success for them is that they did not, their docket was bogged down by these traffic infractions, did not have enough time to focus on misdemeanor and felonies. So they were able to process 90 cases in one afternoon. When the traditional way of them doing it, where the defendant had to mail in a plea reduction request or offer, would take generally anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour for one application, and they could knock ours out in less than 5 minutes. Huge, providing time to the community and time to the DA's office. Broome County, another one. No more handling money. No more playing bill collector. With our platform, we're able to process those payments for them. I think we're sending Broome County over $100,000 a month. Actually, Oswego County is another one that receives over $100,000 a month, and it's about the same population size as Delaware County. Cayuga County, they started with us about 5 or 6 years ago, actually. They had just a paper process. It was bogging down their entire process for their office, the docket, everything. Even for the local justice courts, it was causing a lot of unnecessary time. And went on electronic with us, reduced workloads for the DA's office, for the justice courts, plus brought in the county and the justice courts over another one, over $100,000 a month they brought in. Oswego County, same one, another situation similar to Cayuga, reduced the workloads for the DA's office and the justice courts, and then brought in an additional $100,000 a month. Essex County District Attorney's Office. They reduced their workloads, increased efficiencies, and brought in more funding for the community to use. One big thing that they enjoyed about this is that they were able to actually ask the county legislation or board of supervisors for more support staff. They didn't have enough. So they used the funds to help them bring in additional resources for their office. We see this across the state. This is huge for them. Ontario County, another one, reduced work, repeating myself, reducing your workload, reduce your workload with this. That's what's fantastic about what we offer at Admin Learning, and the fact that it's not going to cost the county a dime, and it's going to bring the county hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, to your county. Let's see, and then Cuyahoga County kind of went over them a little bit earlier, but reduced their workloads, added multiple resources from program funding. So the last page is really just questions. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have about what we offer and what we are hoping to offer to your county to help, again, reduce workloads, increase efficiencies, bring additional funding into your communities, and have safer drivers on your roads. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Does this start out, when it starts, does it start with cases as of that day forward, or do you go back in time and settle some of our old cases?
We could. I mean, that would be up to the DA's office.
So we have, how, I should have said this before we started, how we have right now, if you go to our website, say if anybody here got a ticket, there's two things you can do. It has a return date. You can show up to court on that date. Maybe there'll be an ADA there, or maybe we're there usually once a month. And if you're on a day when there's no ADA, the judge would give you a new date to come back and you can meet with us in person. Of all the tickets, probably a third or half do that way. The other ones go online and they look at our website. I'm not sure who put it there back a couple days ago, I think, but it says if you want to resolve your ticket by mail, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope, your driving abstract, the ticket, send it in, and one of our ADAs will review it and send you back a plea offer through the mail. So that's what we're doing right now. We get about 6,000 of those a year, plus or minus. So probably we can convert those into this program, the ones that we have going. I don't see why we couldn't.
Well, we've got kind of a messy case from a couple years ago that damaged town property, so I imagine they wouldn't get that.
No. So,
But you would have more time to tend to that one.
right, so we would, right, so this would be up to us. We can put whatever we want through that, and of those 6,000, a lot of them we mail back and say, no, you're going, 90 and a 55, we're not giving you it. We don't want anything to do with it, or if you're passing the school bus, this would be the same thing we do now with our discretion. I think we can set this up to say what I'm calling relatively benign ticket or run-of-the-mill one would be eligible for this, not anything excessive, or I'm familiar with the one that you're talking about. That's a misdemeanor, so they couldn't even consider it anyway. They would have to go to court.
So you approve, Sean, you approve any pleas?
Me or one of the ADAs,
Yeah,
they would go
yeah.
through. I think we could set it up so that they get a notification if they try to use this program. We have the guidelines that say, nope, you're not eligible, you got to go to court. And they know that right off the bat instead of mailing something into us.
Absolutely.
I have some experience with this with one of my children.
Sure.
You too?
I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but you got a ticket? Joe says, do this, because it was in Broome County. So my son did that, went through this whole process, it was seamless, didn't have to do nothing, he didn't get any points, I didn't have to worry about my insurance going way high. It was really, really seamless. Very beneficial to myself, my family, and my son. It did cost $400, but he didn't get any points, he didn't get anything, it just cost us money, but he had to go through classes. First thing he had to do was apply to the Broome County DA to be accepted into that program. Once he got accepted, then he got correspondence on what he had to do, and then he finished everything, and then he got the dismissed case back or whatever. At some point, on a Wednesday, I was talking to our district attorney about that, and he said he was already looking into it, so I'm glad he followed through with that. In my mind, it's very beneficial. Now, he's a young kid, who's 19 at the time, he doesn't need to start out with a big traffic ticket like that, and get a heavy fine and points on your license. So in my mind, it's very, very good for the ones that get approved by the district attorney's office to go through this program. Because basically, you learned a lesson, you get to start again without anything on your record. So thank you for following up on that and moving forward with it. So, sorry, Tony, I threw you under the bus.
And I'll just add to that, so there's a version of this program out there that doesn't make you take the class, and I'm not really comfortable with that, because then you just pay and the ticket goes away. I think it's a pain in the neck, but taking that class is.
My son did say he's glad he took that class, because he learned some things in that. So I agree with the point where you have to, you did this, you gotta do this, and this is the result, so.
In that, where in this process is it like, because I understand how the whole thing goes through, but at some point in time, the judge has to contribute his 2 cents on this. So like, is it the time that you say, yes, this guy is suitable, or girl, or whoever's suitable for this class, and this is what the end result will be?
So that, it doesn't have to be that way, because really the judges can't say, Sean, you absolutely have to prosecute this guy. We can say, hey, we declined to prosecute because they did this. I just don't want to do it that way, because I think we have a good relationship with all the courts and the judges. So what I asked the ADAs to tell them, what I've been saying is, hey, if you're not comfortable with this, judges, then we won't do it in your courts. And the reason why I'm suggesting that is because I know the DA in Cayuga County, I talked to the other ones, they started out that way, and they said within a few months, all the judges called up and said, hey.
So
the other
basically,
judges
at
said,
that, if the discussion is made at that point in time, and the judges are okay with it,
That's what I think we should do.
you will follow through with the obligation of the ticket to the end.
Right.
Okay.
And I expect that all the judges will sign, and if they don't, then it's okay, we'll keep doing it like we are in their court, but my guess is that just by looking at the other counties, there hasn't been anybody that says it's bad or they don't want to do it. It's similar to what they're doing.
Does it take it out of their court, or does it still do a process through?
It would still get processed through, so at the end, they get something from me, probably like your son did, that sent something to the judge and said, this person has went through our traffic diversion, so we consider the case satisfied, and we'd ask you to either dismiss it in the interest of justice, or we would request that we decline to prosecute the judge still, because the ticket gets filed there by the police one way or the other, so we need to move to dismiss it. So.
What's your response from the town justices on?
It depends. There's a couple judges, honestly, that said, no, we just want to keep doing it the way we are. And that's fine. There's some judges that are all about it, especially some towns like Hancock, Sydney, that they have the highways that run through there. Each month we go, there's hundreds of tickets there. And they have another problem too, where the last couple of years they've changed a law that says the judge can't do anything if you don't pay your fine. So right now, if you went through the whole thing, they assess you a fine, that they sometimes they pay, sometimes they don't. So I would say, I'd have to ask them, Skylar, you've been talking to some of the good ones. I would say.
So I would say that right now, that I am one of Skylar Kinman, the ADAs that was for Sean. I've been working with a lot of the judges and speaking to them. I have Judge Burkert, he is one of the judges who's very much on board. A lot of the concerns from the judges that I have spoken to about this has been what offenses will be eligible, and what is this going to do to my overall caseload. A lot of the questions have been, is this going to cut out the need for the town court altogether? That's not the intention. The intention is very much what Sean was discussing with the right and mail process. That is really what we're looking to focus on first. We're not talking about overtaking a school bus, failure to yield to an emergency vehicle, driving more than 6 points. And these are things that I've asked the judges, who always have their own personal opinions and concerns for their local communities. What type of offenses do you want to see not eligible? What do you want to see with the rollout of the program? And I'm still making my way through towns and talking to people. It's going to meetings and talking to other individuals, making sure all the players are on board. And I still plan to be doing that just to make sure, even if whatever you decide, I want to make sure our local towns are 100% on board. But I would say the biggest concern has been what is eligible and how is this going to affect the day-to-day running of normal? The answer is it's not going to affect much the normal running of the day-to-day court, because the offenses that are eligible, that will be going to the program, are ones we deal with via the main already. So that's
the bulk of the tickets, at least back in my day, we kind of felt like, you know, we're the money movers. You know, sending them through, which is misdemeanors, no felonies, so on and so forth. Is there, does this kind of replace the fine program, or what is
Well,
the principle behind it indirectly?
Well, there's two things. From my perspective, if there's 6,000 tickets and if we spent 15 minutes a ticket, that's I think 1,500 hours a year, so it frees us up a lot. By being able to do it on air, it reduces the postage and the time that it takes to do it by snail mailing things back and forth. But the other part, what I think is for all you guys to benefit, is it shifts all the money that the state gets right now from the surcharge over to the county to settle.
That was what my
Right.
follow-up to it was, what's up with the surcharge on that?
So there would not be that. So
No
right now,
surcharge.
I think the county gets zero. The jurisdictions of town get a portion of
$5,
whatever.
that's it.
Yeah, depending right on what it is, and the surcharge all goes to the state. So the state probably is not going to be happy at some point because that leaves it, but that's, you know, we're not the first county to do it. Yes.
Thank you.
Ignorant me. So there's a traffic ticket, you approve it, whatever, it's settled. They collect the money. And then you send the money to the town court?
We would send it directly to the county, and then the county treasurer would then break it up. But we would provide a,
Oh,
But you would have to tell us what you want
Right.
to do with it, right?
Yeah.
Or you'd have to. yeah,
see,
tell-
typically, we would collect the fee.
Right.
They give the money to me, and then the state sends a bill and says, you owe us this much of that pot.
So you wouldn't be
You
getting a
wouldn't.
bill from the state because the tickets would ultimately be dismissed. And instead, basically, we're charging them to take this version of the defensive driving course. They gotta pay whatever you all set the fee at, if it's 200, 300, 400, whatever you think is fair, they pay that, that money comes to the county treasurer. And then I assume you give it back, however you decide you wanna split it up, give some portion of it back to the jurisdiction. If it was in Hamden, then you would take, you know, whatever percentage of it, or all of it, or none of whatever the county decides what to do. There'll be way more money, of course, because you're not getting that bill from the state, so that money, I assume, would stay with the county.
So, what's that?
Go ahead.
So a portion of that, who decides what portion of that comes back to the town?
You all would have,
Oh, well, that's a decision we gotta make.
well, it's your, yeah, I don't want to make it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're a low volume court, and we lose money on our court every year. So I kind of value the revenue, what little revenue we get to offset.
But you're gonna be getting.
you would get more, and so, sorry, yes.
What's that?
So what you're giving to the state, you would essentially,
Every town is gonna get way more than losing as a state. But yeah, so you probably don't wanna do a fair split, like Walton has way more tickets in Hamden, you wouldn't wanna get an equal share, of what maybe you would, but I assume that you would wanna base it on, they'll be able to tell us this money, so much money came out of.
I'm not sure.
So
I'm with you on that, Art.
when you get the check, I think that it will come with something to say, this much of it came out of Colchester's court, this much of it came out of Delhi, this much out of Hamden. And then, but you would all decide how much, 50-50 split, 60-40, I think I see other counties do. But no matter what the split is, you're gonna end up with way more in your town than you are now. In Colchester, you have a ton of tickets.
Yeah, we do.
So if
We
you,
have a lot of them that aren't eligible. 100.
well, yeah, that's true, right, sure. Yeah, exactly.
What was the state, what it was?
What's that?
Said it won't cost the county anything. So what funds this program? The fees, like, Joe had to pay the $400?
No, that was my son.
that was in,
That's awful of you.
He was driving.
Is that what funds, I mean,
Yes.
you're not doing it for nothing.
correct. So it would be whatever the cost of the program is. So each county is different. Marin County is a lot different. They charge up to $600 for diversion. Not every county does that, but that's how their county, and they've been doing it for many years. It's been working for them. But yeah, there's other counties that charge very little, or charge, the average is about $150, $200.
So that's something we have to decide, what that diversion.
You always
Correct.
say what it should be, yeah.
Yes.
But when they sign up for it, they pay a fee in addition. If you set it at 200, they pay 200 plus whatever.
Correct, plus the education. So they're paying up front also for that. So instead of, I've heard some defendants going to where they pay partial payments and then it's restitution, then you're chasing them down for the rest. They pay it all up front, so you're gonna get 100%.
Oh, that's
Up
good.
and up
I
front.
was gonna ask you how you avoid the scuffle problem. because-
Yes,
So if it's
that's
paid
gonna
up,
go away as well.
okay, all right, yep.
What percentage do you charge? Is it a percent? Is it flat?
So we
fee?
just have our cost of our course. So we have two traffic related courses. One is $40, and that's our traffic safety course. And then we have a defensive driving course that is $50. But anything above that would go simply to your county.
And that was based on what the county requires for the violation.
Mhm.
Like my son had to take both, which $90. And the overall cost, and I calculated it out, well, it's gonna get a fine of this, and my insurance is gonna go up this. It was well worth it, believe me.
Your surcharge alone
Well, yeah,
is
well
like
worth it.
$95, isn't it now, Sean? Am I right?
$93 surcharge.
Yeah, it
Just,
doesn't
you know,
matter. You
Especially
could
for a
find
young
someone
kid
$5,
with a
but
first
for
time
$100
offense,
because of
is
the surcharge.
100%.
absolutely
100%.
invaluable for that. So we're not starting out.
So our local courts are gonna have two charges. One for the diversion program and one for the ones that don't decide not to go through with that.
People could still, we can't force them into diversion, so they could still show up to your court.
Yeah.
Or we could look at it and say, no, we're not gonna let you use diversion for this, so they do it just the way they are now. You still process it the same way. But this funding wouldn't really run through the courts. This would be collected by them, sent directly to you, to the county, not you, to the county.
So if a violator gets the information, applies for the diversion program, the local courts won't even see,
That's right.
right, until
But
the
if, but
end.
if you get somebody into court that doesn't have a computer,
We'll do that.
doesn't know anything about it, they're gonna come to court.
Correct.
So then we'll have a surcharge on them?
No, that'll stay the same as you have now.
I
We
see.
can't change, because it's a state law, there's nothing the county or I or him can change about that. That'll happen just the way it is now. So you have those 6,000 about, I assume all those would sign up for it or try to participate in it. But I'm guessing there'll be more and more as people realize, hey, we can do this online without having to appear in court. So it'll take a while, but I think it'll go up from 6,000, and then whatever you set the fee at, 6,000 times 200 or 300 is, not an insignificant amount.
And one advantage to the perpetrator is most of it, a lot of it's not in metropolitan areas, so they don't have to spend a day of their life sitting in court.
Or a ton of people hire lawyers, and I don't know why, but they hire to do it, they pay $400 or $500.
Sure.
So they're saving that too.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
I'm
So it's a
happy
great
it'll,
advantage to them.
Absolutely.
I'm happy it'll reduce the judges. Judges are always complaining how overworked they are, and they
There
are,
you go.
because the village court disbanded. So anything we can take the load off their shoulders would be helpful.
You probably would be, because you're down near the highway.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, some of our little local courts aren't really busy.
But I have two courts in Colchester. One
Well, you're the same thing.
And it,
Basically.
yeah, but we're doing those in between doing a DWI or something else, so the attorney's got it, whether it's public defender, whoever, we try not to make the traffic people wait, but we try not to make the attorneys wait, so we're trying to shuffle back and forth.
Some days are long.
Right.
Very long. Sure.
Sean, if somebody signs up, the defendant signs up for the program, is eligible, and then doesn't pay the fee, does that just get kicked back to
Yeah.
direct?
I think it's,
They wouldn't even be able to move forward. They wouldn't. Right.
And then you would be notified, then they would have to go back up directly, normal, traditional.
Yes.
So then the judge would send them an appearance to court again. You would notify the judge would send them an appearance notice.
Yes. And then actually at the time of completion with us, we would send electronic notification directly to the board. So they would automatically know when someone has completed it.
In the meantime, Sean, like, how long does this course take, basically? Depending on the person, but on the average.
Correct. Depending on what course they take, our traffic safety course is 1 hour long, like that. Our defensive driving course is a couple hours.
But I'm talking days from this process starting to.
Oh, they could probably knock it out in 1 day.
Because I was, you know, at the end of the report, someone that comes up and says, you know, and then after, I think it's 3 months or 2 months, what happened with this case? And if we don't have an end result from them, then the judge is left in limbo as to how to answer, because you technically can't scoff on them because they went down that road.
Well, no, but I think that it's still gonna be incumbent on them, like, you can keep using your son, but they can't just blow the court off. They'll have to say, I got a ticket, judge, can you give me a 1 month adjournment so I can complete this diversion program? That's what they do now. They ask the court for an adjournment, say, give us a month to try to work this out with the DA through the mail. But if they blow the court and everybody signs up now or sends it in the day before court, it seems like, I'm guessing they're still gonna want to do that stuff, and then it's up to the judge. They can say, no, you waited too long, you gotta come.
Thank you.
I think in our case, it was an extremely valuable program that was offered, and we took advantage of it. My son was on his way to college. He didn't have to worry about coming back, and it was very, very beneficial. That's why I approached Sean, said, hey, listen, you know, like I said, for first-time offenders, young kids like that, I think it's a very, very good opportunity. The county as a whole. Plus, the county gets the money.
Yes.
And the money stays local instead of going to the state.
Is this something that village courts can do?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're going to. I think that, again, it's up to you, because all the money will come to you, but presumably you want to give the village back their portion, maybe you wouldn't, but if you have, like Village Walton has a ton of tickets, it'll say how much was generated out there, you probably want to give them their share.
Sure.
Well, I think before it went forward, that would be an agreement
Right.
that it goes to the court system that it was generated from.
That's very
I
common.
mean,
That's
that's how
how.
we all voted, yeah.
I
It's
think
not like
that's
you're.
the only fair way to do it.
Except for, you know, like Colchester, it's split it with Walton. Hancock.
But it was Sanford.
No. Yeah, I know.
So I couldn't really bring a resolution for you all to vote on, because I need from you. One, what you want to set the fee at, I'm happy to prepare it, and two, how you figure that much, that it would go back to where it originated jurisdiction, but I don't know what you want the split to be. And maybe it's something you want to talk about in the committees. I know I thought about it after I didn't go to the public safety committee meeting, just because they're after this one, so they invited me to come there. I don't know if you want finance, public safety, or I don't know if the legislative, wherever you want me to go next, or however you want to.
I think the largest committee is finance, I think.
Or assuming if you want to generally move forward with it, I didn't want to do all that if you said, no, we're not. No, thank you.
I think public safety should.
Is that the 9th, I think, this year? Okay, they put me on okay, yep, I put it on my calendar.
As a guess, what would you think would be an added revenue for the county?
Well, I can tell you, and he can tell you better, I'm friends with, because I went to law school with the DA in Cayuga County, said that it was, it'll all be added to the county, because right now you get zero. So just say if we get it up, it'll take a while to get it going. If you set the fee at $200 and we had 6,000 tickets, is that 1.2 million? And you split that with the towns, then, 500,000, but I'm just making that, if you set it at 300, which is still cheaper than Broome and other ones, then, I think it's gonna be substantial. To me, since I don't know what your budget is, but it's not insignificant.
Yes.
I'd love to know what you did to get the state on board with this.
Well, the state doesn't want to get on board with us. That's the problem.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
I don't mind it going public safety, and then once you come up, if you can email it to the supervisor, so we all have an idea of what.
I would say public safety recommend
finance.
Good.
But again,
John,
I think all the supervisors need to know going into the resolution for the next meeting. It's not a local law. We've decided that it's a resolution.
It doesn't have to be a local, I think you could do one, but I see some counties do resolutions, and just from my days as town attorney, it seems like easier than if you want to tweak it and say, oh, fee should be more or less. I think a resolution is easier, but Jeremy would be the guy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I think
for sure, it's
resolution
easy.
is okay.
Could you, before you come to public safety, you mentioned how many counties actually participate in this. I'm just looking
It's in
for
the front, it's closer to the front, yeah.
Either way, could you let us know what each county
Fees,
is?
absolutely.
Like I know Blue County's good.
Right.
Unless they raised it, I don't know.
It's
What's
actually,
Cayuga, what's the other counties, just so we have some
absolutely.
idea.
So I think Otsego County does a little bit different. They don't do it through them, but theirs is 200, so that's a neighbor one. But yeah, I'll bring in what the fee is for everybody.
Sean, I know you don't probably have this information, but do you have any information about the number of diversion cases there might potentially be by court? That'd be a hell of a figure.
I don't know. I added up. I could probably try to figure out. We've been keeping track of how many tickets we get per week or per month or per year, but I don't have, I'll have to see if I can divide them up without counting through. So
If you had a little history and
Yeah.
multiply it times
Yep.
for the year,
Yeah.
I'd be interested.
Yeah,
in
for
that.
sure. So it's, what, in my mind, the ones that I
Not
would
that I'm
use-
opposed to it, but I
Right.
would just,
that I would think about, right now, they end say with parking on pavement or opening a door unsafe. So I would use those ones as what would be eligible for diversion, just as a quick, things that we've offered a plea bargain for that. And just, we don't keep files on the traffic ones unless they do it through the mail. Otherwise, we just show up to court, the judge hands me the files with the defendants, I look through them and we do them, so I don't have the records. I'll see what I can find out. There's gotta be records of it somewhere, I just have to see where I can go.
I can say the average at population size is similar to this. They're doing about 200 or 300 a month, some more than that, that are going through the program.
200 or 300
Defendants. Cases, yes.
oh,
But that's per county, are you
That's
looking
per county,
for like
yeah.
Hamden versus?
I'm just saying, that's per
right,
county.
right.
I just know off the top of my head, like you have in Hamden, 200 a month, and they have 200 a month.
That printout that you get from your court
Yeah.
has the disposition of the tickets on it.
And you can do an audit with that software and it'll tell you for certain categories of tickets, how many you had.
Right.
So
Exactly.
And I
You
would
could probably
know how many of
specify-
those are potential diversion cases.
Well, yeah, but based on history of what ones have already been reduced to some sort of infraction other than speeding.
Does it still kick down what the original charge is and what the plea down is?
Right,
Does it still do that?
yeah,
Or
yeah, it does.
I haven't studied it
Yeah,
since
no,
I've
it's, I
been
I
at,
get it every.
but it's, you go any 1180 as a quick way look, any of them that are an 1180, go down through, and if it's clicked down to, it used to be 1110A, what's the big one now?
Well, look, we're mindful a little bit, even that we're 1110A, the towns don't get most of that revenue. so
Exactly.
We're mindful of trying to use stuff that the towns do if we
Right.
can, so like 1214 or 1201As. So, but some
Those are the
people,
numbers you want to look for. That'll tell you pretty much
so I would say
wind up in that
anything
case.
that reduced to this that we thought they were, didn't have a bad record and they should be penalized going forward. So if 1214 or 1201A or something like that would be ones that I think would be eligible for diversion.
And Mr. Marshfield, you were worried about if someone didn't have a computer, they wouldn't know. From my own experience, the police officers tell you about the diversion program right when they're writing you a ticket.
So if my 99-year-old resident,
And it wasn't my son.
you know, they still have to have a computer to go online and deal with this.
Right, I mean, they can go to the library or.
Right, there's many different places they can go
They
to,
don't
and
even
if
know how
they
to turn it.
really don't have the means to access a library, we can send them a booklet and DVD. For the course, we can collect payment, there's multiple different payment channels, debit card, credit card, money order, certified check, does not matter.
right here.
Just.
It'll work right here on this.
Right.
I don't even have one of them.
And so this last thing I'll say,
You're gonna tell them what you doing?
towns are very busy, so we have special days because we couldn't get through them all, where we had the ADA and the judge just for traffic tickets. So
Right.
you wouldn't get through it all, so, yeah.
So you do traffic ones, what you're saying?
So I think the next steps would be that public safety would meet, make a recommendation to finance, let the board know what the fees that we would like to set, and then come up with a resolution for the next meeting. Everybody in agreement to that?
Yes.
And then we'll vote on it then. Okay.
I think they're-
So once we meet to the public safety. John, once we approve it, how soon?
Well, how long will
I
it
mean,
take?
we could probably get it up and running in a matter of weeks.
Before I brought it here, he set up for us like a test version,
When's our next
fool
meeting?
around with it.
Is it
We
the
did like
end?
some big traffic. It's pretty easy. I
Fourth?
think it'll be easy enough for us to, what'll take
Oh,
longer is getting the
25th.
defendants to know about
See
it.
where it is.
So it'll start out not many people and every month it'll go up.
So Sean, our next meeting is September 25th,
It is, huh? No two meetings in September?
not in September.
Well, that's good. I thought there was
Okay,
two in
thank you.
September.
Thank
Thank you very much. Okay, next on the agenda, the standing committee reports. Does anyone have a standing committee report? Okay, we'll move on to resolutions. Okay, the first resolution, number 125.
I'll make resolution number 125, Lord Hooper.
I'll second.
2024 budget amendment, acceptance of healthcare worker bonus, Sheriff's Office.
Are there questions on this resolution? Mr. Kozier, is there a question on this?
No, sorry.
Please call the roll.
Gladstone. Merrill.
Yes.
Kelso.
Yes.
Bukai.
Yes.
Wally.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Marshfield.
Yes.
Colonel.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Faulkner.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Kosher.
Yes.
Layton.
Yes.
Seta.
Yes.
Malay.
Yes. Resolution number 126.
Madam Chair, I'll move this resolution and ask for the approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second.
2024 budget amendment, acceptance of healthcare worker bonus, Department of Mental Health.
Questions? Please call the roll.
Gladstone.
Yes.
Merrill.
Yes.
Kelso.
Yes.
Bukai.
Yes.
Wally.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Marshfield.
Yes.
Vernal.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Faulkner.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Kosher.
Yes.
Layton.
Yes.
Seta.
Yes.
Malay.
Yes. Resolution number 127.
I'll pull that up. Over its adoption.
I'll second.
2024 budget amendment, non-residential domestic violence expansion, Department of Social Services.
Fully reimbursable.
Any questions? Please call the roll.
Gladstone.
Yes.
Merrill.
Yes.
Kelso.
Yes.
Bukai.
Yes.
Wally.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Marshfield.
Yes.
Vernal.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Faulkner.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Kosher.
Yes.
Layton.
Yes.
Seta.
Yes.
Malay.
Yes. Resolution number 128.
I'll bring resolution number 128 to the Lord Hooper.
Second.
2024 budget amendment, transfer of funds, probation department.
Questions on this? Please call the roll.
Gladstone.
Yes.
Merrill.
Yes.
Kelso,
Yes.
Kukai,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Marshfield,
Yes.
Vernal,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Faulkner,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Kosher,
Yes.
Layton,
Yes.
Seta,
Yes.
Malay,
Yes. Resolution number 129.
Pull that up and move for adoption.
2024 budget amendment, transfer of funds, Department of Social Services.
This is a resolution transferring funds from the Raise the Age funding to various daycare, foster care, and CSE funds. And CSE, most all of them are foster care and CSEs because of an increase in children that we have to have special services for. Foster care, we've got 7 or 8 kids in residential care. That's the extremely expensive service that are kids that we can't house in our normal program. Daycare, CSE, we budgeted for 3 kids. We now have 4 in there, and that's about 200 to 250 a year, $1,000 a year per child. And daycare services, the income level was raised on that, so we're getting more eligible families that are taking advantage of it. And this is why we need the funding for those 3. We've got about 80 kids in foster care right now, 80 to 85. And we got 7 of them that are in special care. I think we got 1 that not in their care, so we're trying to deal with that.
Any questions for Mr. Marshfield? Please call the roll.
Gladstone,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Kelso,
Yes.
Kukai,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Marshfield,
Yes.
Vernal,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Faulkner,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Kosher,
Yes.
Layton,
Yes.
Seta,
Yes.
Malay.
Yes. Resolution number 130.
Bring this up and move for its adoption.
Second.
Change order number 1 and 2 of proposal number 27 of 22. Replacement of the Arbor Hill Road Bridge over the Little Delaware River, Town of Delhi, Department of Public Works.
George Vector. We were trying to think of the
The
name.
construction company down there.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
trying to think of it
Did a
this
really
morning.
nice project down there, and it outwitted Debbie this time. I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty good. They're starting topsoil, it's looking really nice. Real nice job, George.
Okay, any questions on this? Please call the roll.
Gladstone,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Kelso,
Yes.
Kukai,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Marshfield,
Yes.
Vernal,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Faulkner,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Kosher,
Yes.
Layton,
Yes.
Seta,
Yes.
Malay.
Yes. Resolution number 131.
I'd like to bring this resolution up and ask for its adoption.
Second.
Authorization for disposition of personal property no longer necessary for public use, Department of Planning and Watershed Affairs.
Hey,
Couldn't get
this-
a few more years out of that critter.
Nope. Got tired of pushing it.
Okay, this is a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So carried. Resolution number 132.
Bring this up, move for its adoption.
Authorization for disposition of personal property no longer necessary for public use, Department of Public Works.
Another voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So carried. Resolution number 133.
I'll bring resolution
Would you
number
read that?
133 to the floor.
Please.
Second.
I think we're very fortunate to have such a dedicated sheriff's department, and they certainly deed this recognition for the service they provide. Right, I know Greg said that they're doing a hell of a job. Thank you, Bart.
Thank you, I appreciate it. We
Rob-
appreciate the board's support, thank you.
Proclamation in recognition of Sheriff's Week, September 15th through the 21st, 2024. Whereas the office of sheriff has been an integral part of the criminal justice system in New York State and in Delaware County throughout our history, having been established in the state's first constitution in 1777, and having been continued in every succeeding constitution, and having been one of our original constitutional offices upon the founding of our county. And whereas changes in its function, status, and history, the office of sheriff has maintained a continuous existence, preserved its distinguishing heritage, and continued to be an essential component of our criminal justice community. And whereas the office of sheriff has evolved into a modern, professional, full-service law enforcement and corrections agency manned by well-trained police officers and correctional officers, using state-of-the-art technology and applying the latest and most advanced theories and practices in the fields of law enforcement and corrections. And whereas the office of sheriff is unique in the community, and the duties of the office go far beyond traditional role of keeper of the peace and extend into many facets of public service beyond law enforcement and corrections, to include providing security in our courts, dispatching emergency services, and handling the civil process for our courts. And whereas, as a constitutionally empowered office directly responsible to the people, the ancient office of sheriff remains, even today, responsive and accountable to the public it serves. And whereas it is fitting to celebrate the historical contributions of the office of sheriff and the significant role that the sheriffs play in our modern criminal justice system. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Delaware County Board of Supervisors does hereby recognize the important services provided to the citizens of this county by Sheriff Craig Estamund and the members of the Sheriff's Office, and do hereby proclaim September 15th to the 21st, 2024, to be Sheriff's Week in Delaware County.
And this is a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Resolution number 134.
I bring this resolution up and ask its adoption.
Second.
Cooperative agreement with the Town of Bovina for assessment services.
I have some questions on this.
Yeah, okay.
What is the cost to the town to utilize the county services?
Can you answer that?
Yeah, right now, this is a pilot program that we are trying out. Town of Bovina is unable to find an assessor. We have advertised for 3 months and zero interest. And I believe Sherry Falcone, our real property tax director, has spoken to finance about other towns that are having similar issues with their assessors. So the county is asking Bovina is asking the county as a trial run for 2 years to take over our town assessing. It does not include a townwide reval. It does not include pictometry. What we are, as Bovina is the first town going into this, the county is going to charge us what we currently pay our town assessor. And then as other towns voluntarily, if you like your assessor and you can find assessor, you can keep your assessor. It's totally voluntary. If other towns eventually do sign on to the county or join into this program, we are going to reevaluate the cost and come up with a per parcel charge so that it's equal amongst all the towns.
So what is the cost right now?
It costs me, we'll be paying the county $18,600.
And that'll include mileage, postage.
No, it will not
So
include,
that'll all be additional to,
correct,
the
and
town.
pictometry. It'll be an additional cost, yes. It does not include equipment, but everything else, it will cost me additional, the town of Bovina
printing
additional.
services, all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
So that'll
yes.
all go on top of that expense.
correct.
And do we have someone that'll fit that bill right now?
Yes, we have 2 assessors in the real property. We have one, and one is joining in 2 weeks. Yes.
Because we have one that's leaving, correct? Retiring.
He's already retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
So I was just curious about the cost.
sure.
Now, is the future of this to consider making it a countywide assessment program?
If it works out and it's a success, then it could be. But again, right now, it's totally voluntary. If you like your assessor, you do not have to.
But is that possibly a consideration?
You mean making it or
Yes.
a non-voluntary?
Yes.
We haven't even discussed that.
That's not the
No,
intention.
no, it's definitely not the intention.
I mean, just
Yeah,
71, the state made that available.
Mhm.
There's only 2 counties in the entire state that do that, which Nassau County, which is completely irrelevant to
To
us,
do what?
make it so you get a countywide assessment. The other one was Tompkins, which they have Ithaca, which pretty much controls what happens in Tompkins. And Cornell University is actually the ones that did a lot of the groundwork and still continue to for a lot of the assessment activity that happens in the state. So I just find it interesting that since 71, those are the only 2 counties that have taken on this countywide assessment. I was curious if that is the direction that we are considering.
that is not the intention. I do know, talking with our real property tax director, that there are many towns and counties that are in a similar boat that Bovina's in, not finding assessors. It's the same with code officers. You know, many of them are doing several towns, or send anybody in 2.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our town is paying about $21 per parcel, just in wages. Of course, that's 1,400 parcels. You know, I know there's towns here that pay a lot more than that, but they've got a lot more parcels too.
And there are towns that pay a lot less. We have done a study on that and pay,
I pay 21.
Me personally, looking at where this could lead to, is if it's a countywide, I'm totally not in favor of that. Mainly because I view it as a situation that we are a governing body of the people, for the people. And an assessment is pretty, something that everyone seems to take notice of. And to have someone that they could say, this is my town assessor, and I can go to the board of review, and I can have, and when you end up just deferring them to the county, not that that isn't, but I just think we're taking away some of that. This is the responsibility of the town, in my opinion. And instead of sending them off to the county because we've contracted the county on it, I think we're kind of taking away from our citizens of each of our own towns.
it's not our intention.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions on
But
that?
if your town decides you want to go, you just go to the county and they'll pick you up.
Hey,
But there
Right.
are a lot of other counties that are doing this, correct, Sherry?
Correct.
So we're not reinventing the wheel on this.
There's a lot that are doing this.
Yes. They're not doing full county assessing, they are bringing in towns that when towns need assistance, kind of like where Bovina is right now. There are not a lot of assessors out there, and it's not something that they teach at college or anything like that, so to try to find people qualified to become an assessor is becoming harder.
and the reality right here is that the gentleman who was Bovina's assessor is also assessor in 4 other towns.
But that was the town's decision to take
Right.
him on, and that's
Exactly.
what I don't want
No,
to
I
see go
understand.
away, is
Yeah.
is having that independence to be able to say to go like, because it was with the county, but able to say, could you please do this work for us, and have that identity that,
And that's gonna be strictly up to the individual towns.
But
I
that's
mean,
good.
About, I'm gonna say 6 years ago now, Colchester went from, elected on the ballot town assessors, we had 3 of them, and we eliminated and went to an appointed assessor because we couldn't find anybody who wanted to run, or if they did run,
which that became available in 71 also, that was all part of that assessment.
so,
And there are other towns that over the years, they've gone from 3 to 1.
right, yeah, because it's been necessity.
I mean, my point is just that
No, I totally agree with you on that.
ground identity that,
As much as is humanly possible, I think we all want.
Right, I
I
totally
don't
agree
think
with that.
Belida wanted wanted
Right.
this as their option, but it's the only option left at this point.
I mean, I get that, I know it's a totally different dimension at this time, but
Yeah.
where we grow as a county, I mean, we talk often about situations dealing with the city of New York and their involvement in our county, and that sometimes we feel that there is an overreach by them, and I hate to feel our townships end up feeling that way towards our county. And that's a concern. That's my baseline on most of this.
While we're in this pilot program, if somebody approaches Belida to be the assessor, how do we work that?
Well, if this board agrees, I'll be entering into a 2-year contract with Delaware
So if
County.
somebody shows interest and you're within the contract, we're just have to wait.
Yeah,
The
My
reality
assessor is
of the-
retiring in another year. And we hired a trainee to be an assessor, caught a hell of a lot of flack on it, but she's doing well.
Yeah.
And, I'm paying an assessor, now I'm paying a trainee, and we're making it work. And I'm staying beside the decision we made, and we were able to find somebody from Walton.
Lucky you.
Why don't you annex Hamden? But anyway, some of us are really going to extremes to keep assessing in.
Right. And the reality of the assessor position is that they're all appointed on the same date for a
Yeah.
6-year term. So once you're locked into that, you're locked into it.
Yeah.
For 6 years.
Yeah.
So somebody might become available, but the position only rotates every 6 years unless somebody retires or dies.
and there are some that we have one, I believe, is close to 90, if not 90 years old.
Right.
So, we're aging out.
I just like the fact that a smaller community within our county is asking for help. If the county can provide that help, let's figure it out.
I agree.
We need to help these smaller.
Oh, of course.
Well, if there's no other place to turn, you gotta help them, because we gotta have the assessments countywide and townwide. In school.
Be costing the full county taxpayers.
Right.
We are paying for it, our taxpayers. Okay, please call the roll.
Gladstone.
Yeah.
Merrill,
Yes.
Kelso.
Yes.
Bukai,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Marshfield,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Faulkner,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Kosher,
Yes.
Layton,
Yes.
Seta,
Yes.
Malay.
Yes. Okay, I will grant privilege of the floor to we'll do that after. Supervisor Bernal.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to go.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
How was that, Ken?
Damn chair, that's big.
To go into executive session.
I'll second that.
And ask that Shelley Johnson, Nick Carbone, please stay.
What is it for?
negotiations.